Hey YouTube, so it's Thursday, May 12th. I'm over at the Grand Prix storage. I'm working on the 97. So I don't know how the weather is where you guys are at, but I'm in Oklahoma. It's like 96 degrees with a heat index of like 102. It's hot as fuck today. So I went by Walmart, got me 2 cans of R134A. And I already had the little hose tool with the gauge. So cool. But yeah, AC is blowing ice cold. Took 1 can of R134A. Yeah, so anyone that has a 97 to 03 Grand Prix or Impala, if you guys are looking for how to add your Freon, you got a blue cap right here on this line. Just undo that cap. And then as you put this on, you just gotta pull this back, hook it in and let go. And that's it. And then you just squeeze the trigger and boom. And yeah, I wish you guys could feel this air. Oh my god, it just feels so great. But yeah, I just want to give you guys a little update on that. So that's awesome. Didn't think I was gonna have AC in this car, but yeah, that's awesome. So now I'm just going over here. But yeah, so still don't know what I'm doing with this trans yet. I have someone that wants to buy it for 350 bucks plus 150. I told him 150 for me to install it, so it's 500 bucks installed, which is cool with me. But I don't know, he's just been kind of bullshitting, so I don't know if he still wants it or not. But other than that, I mean, everything's going pretty good. I'm still waiting on a couple things to come in. I've ordered some stuff and I'm just waiting for everything to come in. I had a couple things. I had a high flow catalytic converter that was supposed to be here today to go on the catless downpipe and make it a catted downpipe, but it still hasn't shown up. And then I've ordered some more AN fittings for the transmission cooler lines, and I've ordered some more fittings from Aeromotive for the fuel pressure regulator, and I think that was it. I really want to order that little piece I was talking about that plugs in here and gives me my 2 8AN fittings, but I'm just don't have the 150 bucks to spend on it right now. But other than that, I've got the fuel pump is here. It's all ready to go. It's got the AEM high flow pump in there. These are all my rear arms. And like I said, that's pretty much all I can really do at the moment. But it's been a pretty decent week. So I've been working my ass off like 9-10 hours a day all week. I'm already at like 38 hours for the week, and I still got all day tomorrow and possibly this weekend to work too. So I don't know, I might end up working on Saturday and making like an extra 150 bucks just to help out, because I've still got tickets I'm paying on from buying the parts car, and then I got a speeding ticket, and that was like $400 or something, and I paid $200, so I owe $204 on the speeding ticket, and then I still owe $125 on the improper towing of the parts car ticket. It's just been a lot of shit and a lot of stress, but stuff's getting there. It's coming together. So I have somebody that's interested in these fans off the 98, and he has a 2000 or 2001 4-door GTP for sale for 1,500 bucks in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. Great deal. It's got a ZZP exhaust, a lot of aftermarket stuff on it. Totally worth 1,500 bucks. I wish I had the money. I would just go buy it. But I really don't need another fucking project or parts car right now. And I really don't have anywhere to put another car at the moment. So, but yeah, I need to get over here. I need to get this ass into this car jacked up. I need to drop the tank. I need to swap this pump. I need to do all these rear suspension arms, which in order to do that, I have to drop the exhaust and drop the rear end. So it's a lot of shit to get done, but it will get done. Just bear with me, guys. And I just have a lot on my plate at the moment, trying to get everything situated. So still need to make some more progress on the Grand Dam. I finally got my plate steel in to make the engine mount, and I cut it, I measured it, I got the holes drilled in it, I started welding it on, and it was looking pretty good. I even stood on it and jumped up and down, and it was holding. And then I got the holes drilled, got the engine mount on, let it off the cherry picker to hold the weight, and it broke every fucking weld that I had on there. Just popped off. So I'm gonna have to have somebody else weld that plate steel on for me, because that shit's just too thick, or I'm just not experienced enough to make it work. So I'm gonna have to take that, or have someone come over here and help me out with that. I've been trying to get a hold of my buddy Garrett again, and I just haven't heard from him at all. He's not been answering or anything, so I hope he's doing okay. And that's where I'm at with the Grand Dam and with the Grand Prix. So probably not going to be over here too long. I just want to stop by and just check on everything and try to charge my AC. My little AC hose tool with the gauge was in here. So, and before I leave, I'm probably going to message those couple people and those guys to see if they still want the fans. And then I have another guy, he was wanting something else. I can't seem to remember what it was off the top of my head, but hopefully I can get some stuff sold. If anybody is looking for parts for this 04 to 08 Prix, I have a front bumper, I have the header panel that holds the headlights, I have one headlight, I believe I have some tail lights, I have the red front bumper off of the Grand Dam. I have headlights and taillights for the Grand Dam. I have an extra radiator for the Grand Dam. I mean, if anybody needs any Pontiac Grand Prix parts or any Pontiac Grand Dam parts, please hit me up. I have the parts car. I'm probably just going to part it out. You know, I've got that full leather interior with heated leather seats. The dash is like immaculate. Yeah, I mean, so, but if anybody needs anything, hit me up. If you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I can make you even better deals if you can come pick stuff up. I mean, if you want to buy the whole parts car, or, you know, like buy a whole bunch of stuff at once, I'll make you better deals. So, especially if you can come pick stuff up. If I got to ship it, I can't really do as good of a deal, because you got to pay for shipping, and I can't eat the shipping. And it's not going to be on me. But, yeah, like I said, I mean, I've got, you know, intakes, I've got heads, I've got all kind of shit. I've got, you know, all this stuff in here. And then this ain't even half of it. Like, my whole shed is packed to the brim with fucking shit. So, anyone need any 3800 stuff? Got alternators, AC compressors, brackets, everything. So, y'all hit me up. If you need anything, I'll make you a good deal. So that's probably going to be it for now. And yeah, so y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update. Hey YouTube, so it's Saturday. I'm over here at the house. I've been working on this parts car. So I messaged the guy that bought the whole top end off of the engine of this car, and because he was really interested in the interior. So he got both of the door panels. Even though this one was messed up, he still wanted it. He wanted the shifter knob, both the front seats and the back seats. And so I got everything pulled out, and he just came and got everything picked up. So if anyone's needing a damn near mint dash or steering column, or the center console is still pretty nice, the carpet's decent, it'll clean up really well. If you need airbags, any interior trim pieces, if you need glass, have the transmission still in here. The engine is pretty much junk, as you can tell, but the transmission was still good. It did move forward and backwards. I didn't get to drive it anywhere because the motor was knocking, as you can tell on this yeah, that piston in there. It's pretty trashed. But, yeah, I have the whole engine wire harness with the fuse box. If anyone needs a 98 to 2000, 2003, I believe, engine harness. Not sure if the pinouts are the exact same for all of them. I know the 97 is like a 1 year only, and I was going to use the engine harness out of the 98 for the 97, but it just won't work without having to unpin the harness and repin it so it'll work with the 97, and I'm just not trying to do all that. So if anyone needs any body parts, I got a trunk, bumpers, brakes. I have the passenger CV axle that goes into the diff on the trans. It's got good headlights on it. Front bumper's decent, fog lights. So if anybody needs anything, all the glass is good, the dash is immaculate, the headliner, oh yeah. If anyone needs the headliner, this thing looks brand new. Like, brand new. There are no stains on it anywhere. I took the this off because I did have someone that was wanting the headliner, and then they backed out after I started pulling it, so I only got that one sun visor disconnected. But I mean, all this worked. It has a charger up here. It's got a spot for your radar detector. Got a sunglasses holder, garage door opener spot, your 2 lights. All these back plastic trim pieces back here are still nice and good. Seat belts are nice and good. So I mean, there's still lots of good parts in here. All the speakers were good. Radio's good. This car has 239,000 miles. I also have another gauge cluster for sale that has 141,000 miles. That came out of I want to say it was out of an 02, 01 or 02 Grand Prix GTP. Identical to this. It was just a gold one. But yeah, I've got lots of parts for sale off this thing. And then I just need to come up with like another $100 or so, and I can go get an engine for the 06, which is what I'm trying to do today. And so once I get an engine for the 06, I'm going to do an engine swap on the 06, start daily in that. And I'm going to pull the engine out of this for the Grand Am, and I'm going to pull the 20s off, and I'm probably just going to try to sell both cars. So if anyone wants to buy this whole car, everything that's left in this car, I'll take $200 for the whole rest of the car. There's no title. There's a lot of rust on this car. Say, I mean, it's got this here. It's all these rockers down here. Like, this is completely rusted out all the way down the whole car on both sides. Can't really tell from in here, but I'm pretty sure that one of these 2 rear strut towers is pretty rusted out on the inside. So I mean, it's definitely not perfect, but it's a good parts car. I think it's worth a couple $100 for, you know, the lights and the rest of the interior. I mean, this dash, you hardly ever see them not curled. This one just barely has a curl in there. But I mean, like, that dash sells for $150 by itself in, you know, excellent condition, and it's about 95% good condition, maybe 98%, you know, out of 100. But yeah, $200 on this one, and then once I pull the engine, the full exhaust, and the wheels and tires off of this, then I'll probably do like $300 for the whole rest of the 97. It has a good clean title. The 98 doesn't have a title. And this car, I've replaced the struts, the rack and pinion, the power steering pump, the lines, the transmission cooler lines, the radiator and fans. I've done the brakes. I've done all 4 of the struts. I did the rear trailing arms. I mean, I've done so much work on this thing. It does need a windshield, which this one has a good windshield. So, I mean, I was kind of thinking about doing both of them package deal for $500 for both cars. You know, neither one of them have a good engine. Well, this one does, but it won't. And but yeah, so if anyone's interested in any parts, or if you're interested in the whole cars, then yeah, shoot me a message or leave me a comment down in the video, and we can make some deals. So I'm gonna get the rest of this stuff picked up. I'm kind of waiting for my buddy David to get back over here, and then we're gonna head out to the salvage yard and go start looking for an engine for the 06. And while I'm out there, my neighbor Peggy, she's got this gold Malibu, and her power steering pump's going out. And so I'm going to look for her a new power steering pump. And then I also had a couple extra belt tensioners. So I already brought her one. It's right there in her back seat. And while I do the power steering pump, I'm going to swap out the belt tensioner, because hers was just kind of like moving a lot while it was running. So I think maybe her belt tensioner is going out, or maybe her pulley's locking up. So yeah, if anybody needs any parts, or if you want to buy both cars, please shoot me a message and we'll get something worked out. So yeah, y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update once we make it out there to the salvage yard. So y'all stay tuned. Here, 07 Lacrosse, smashed front end. Looks like someone's just taking a coil. Other than that, engine looks complete. Inside looks pretty clean. Looks like they drained the oil. But looks pretty clean. Someone put a jack on the oil pan. That's not good. This will probably be the engine I get. It's got 194,000 miles. 07 Lacrosse. Yeah, see, I looked in here, but it's all digital, so no power. But yeah, this is probably the one I'm gonna get. Alright, so we got an 08 Prix. Someone's already cut the harness and taken some shit off. But this one only has 144,000 miles. I don't know, that's like 50,000 miles difference. But this one's also missing shit. Has a brand new tensioner on it though. Oh no. I'm gonna keep looking. Alright y'all, so here's the Cavalier with the F23 5-speed. Got a bolt up to the 3.8 and the 3.4. And it still has the whole shifter assembly. Still has the clutch pedal, still has the lines. So if anyone's want to do the 5-speed swap, it's your car. Out at Danny's Auto Salvage in Tulsa. So I just got back over to the house. And so this is my score. So I got these two GXP door seals right inside the front doors. And then I got this for the 97, because the piece right here is broken. I have an RTV, the piece of regular hose. And it's just ghetto-fied, so I'm just going to use this. And then on the 97, it doesn't have this. And the radiator, every time I open the cap, it drips onto the battery, positive battery lead, and there's nothing on it, so it keeps getting corroded. So I'm going to clean it up with the wire wheel, and then put this on, and then have a cap, and that'll seal that up just for while I'm driving it. And then I had this brand new water pump that I bought on eBay like 6 months ago, and it's for a Series 1 3800. It bolts right on the Series 2 and Series 3. But the pulley didn't work, so I got this pulley. And then my ex, she said that she needed a mirror because she broke hers, so this one was 25 bucks. I'm gonna charge her 40. And then I got the pump from my next door neighbor for her Malibu over here. So I'm about to grab my belt tool and these other tools I got over here and go start working on Peggy's car and get her power steering pump swapped out. And then in the trunk of the 06, I have that gallon jug of power steering fluid. So I'll get it all filled back up. But before I do that, I'm gonna grab the power washer and I'm gonna spray that pump off and clean it up and get it looking brand new. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update here in like 10 minutes after I get all this shit picked up. Alright you guys, so I just got my neighbor's car done. Wasn't even the power steering pump, it was just the idler pulley. So that was just one 15mm bolt, swap the pulley, put the belt back on, it's good to go. No noise at all. So I'm just gonna take that pump that I got her back, and I'll just get store credit. It was like 25, 26 bucks, something like that, plus tax. So about $30. So I'll use that store credit towards the engine whenever I go to, hopefully tomorrow, to go get the engine. I still gotta go to my storage and grab those fans and take them out to Sand Springs and sell those for 50 bucks. And then, yeah, I should pretty much cover everything. And then I've got to take that mirror over to my ex and put it on her car. It should take me like 10 minutes. And then she owes me 40 because I let her borrow 20 bucks. And then 40 for the mirror. So she owes me 60 bucks right now. So, all good. So hopefully I can go make all this money today. And I can go tomorrow and go get the engine. I still don't know if I'm going to get the one out of the Buick or out of the 08 Grand Prix. I don't know, with it just being open, I'm just kind of iffy about it. No oil cap, no PCV valve. Like, I don't know how long it's been open. But the one in that Buick, it might be wrecked and smashed up against it in the front, but I know it should be a good engine. It rear-ended somebody, so I guess it's probably going to be it for now. And hey guys, okay, so what I'm wanting to do is I'm about to pull this hood off, and I need to start getting this old engine block disconnected from the trans, get it ready to be pulled, because I want to go out and get an engine for the 06. I've got to move it over here. It's misfiring like crazy, but I want to go get an engine, but I don't have enough, and it's almost $100 difference for the core, and it needs to be a complete engine since I'm buying a complete engine. So I'm going to pull this engine out, and I have a bad head in the shed. I have another bad head at my storage. I have that upper and lower intake manifold at my storage. I have a throttle body. I have a bad EGR, like a bad power steering pump. Like, I have a whole engine of bad parts. So pretty much I'm just going to take everything and put together a complete engine out of all junk parts, and that's going to be my core. And then I've got a junk tire laying over here, and my buddy David brought me a tarp, so I'm going to take the passenger seat back out of the 97, and I'm going to put that tarp down in there, throw that tire down, and then we're going to put the engine on the tire in the car. And I've got friend of mine over here, he's going to let me borrow his cherry picker whenever I'm ready. So I'm going to quit rambling on, and I'm going to get some tools out and get this hood off and start getting this thing disconnected, and I'll give you guys another update. And look, I've already got everything all disconnected. It's ready to come out. And there it is. So now it's just sitting on that engine mount down there. God damn. It's ridiculous. But, yep, so I guess that's what happened. That I guess that piston stuck, and then whenever I got it started, it twisted or something. And I mean, shit happens. It is what it is. So, yeah, I'm going to get this engine out of here, and hopefully I can get a cherry picker over here. If not, me and my buddy David's going to try to just pull this thing out by hand. So I guess we'll see. Keep you guys updated. Alright guys, and look at there. Fucking engine is out of the parts car. So look at this fucking damage. Holy fuck. It is still connected to the rod.
It's just a chip piston.
It is cracked here. It's cracked back here. God damn. That thing is fucked. But This is my core engine for tomorrow for the 06. So I'll probably keep the flex plate since it's a supercharged flex plate. Just because I still have the 07 and it's still automatic. So I might keep this balancer, just throw an NA one on there.
Grab these.
No, those are, no.
Oh, they're crap.
Yeah, I bought brand new ones.
Oh, hell yeah.
This is why the original engine in the 07, while the lifter spun, because I reused those.
That comes
And this
apart.
one's got 240,000 miles on it. Nah. It wasn't oiling good enough to have that kind of catastrophic damage.
That's
so
true.
I don't want them. I just want the flex plate. And I don't know, I might take this oil sensor. It looks like it's been leaking though. How's the one on the front of the pan? Oh God. I don't know. Well, the oil light wasn't on whenever it did run.
Hell, take the pan.
I really don't need it. But yeah, it's out, so like I said, I'm probably just gonna pull that flex plate and that harmonic balancer, and I got an NA head in the shed, and so I'm gonna throw that on there, and I got another one over at my storage I gotta grab, and I'll throw it on there and just throw an intake and some valve covers on it, and shit, I might even pull all the pistons and rods out.
I mean, this
good.
block is everything you should need for a core. I don't think
Yeah.
I care about the other accessories.
Really?
Nah.
But yep, so engine's out. So now if anyone needs the transmission, she's still in here. Look at that torque converter. That thing looks brand new. Nice and silver. This might have been a reman. I mean, it did say like GM remanufactured. It's just covered in gunk. But either way, trans is there, $100. If anyone needs a transmission, I just have the passenger side axle that goes into the diff, which the driver side one is the same on the NA and the supercharged, so this is the only different one. So I have the full axle that goes with the trans. It's got the dipstick. I don't know, did we drain the pan on this one?
I didn't think so.
But
I know you pulled the dipstick and it was like bright
no,
red.
yeah, and then
And nothing really came out of the
whenever I pulled the cooler lines, yeah, I did. It was like some nasty dark fluid, and it stunk pretty bad. I think it was on the 97, the fluid was still clean. But on this one, the parts car, it's pretty... It was low whenever I first got out there, too. I added like a whole quart and a half. And right as I was topping off the transmission fluid is when it locked up. But yeah, I've still got the full engine harness and fuse box and all that. I've got the AC compressor over here. I got the starter.
Brake master, brake booster,
Yeah,
ABS module,
all
cruise
this.
control.
Everything's for sale, or you can come get the whole rest of the car for $175. Since I pulled the engine out, $175. $100 for the transmission, $75 for the rest of the car. Still has a great dash, a great headliner, good steering column. The
All the
airbags
glass
are
is
good.
really nice.
All the glass is good. The windshield's good. The heads-up display works. Like, there's still a lot of good usable parts on this thing. Like, the trunk, it's not amazing. Yeah, it's got some shit carved in it, but it's better than a smashed in one, like, or the rear bumper. If someone got rear-ended and fucked up some shit, you might be able to rebuild it with some of these parts. So $175 for the whole car. Send me a message or leave me a comment down below, or find me on Facebook, Thomas Moody. You'll see the Grand Am, supercharged Grand Am. So yeah, that's gonna be it for now. So I've got to jack this thing back up a little bit, start getting some of this shit disconnected, and take off what I want to take off. And I got to load this thing in the car, which means I got to take the passenger seat back out. But it's just 215, so it won't be no big deal. But hell yeah, I made some good progress today. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update whenever I get this thing in the car. Alright, y'all, so I ran over to my storage and I grabbed the rear head, grabbed this upper and lower intake, I grabbed some injectors, grabbed the alternator, some brackets, the throttle body, some more exhaust, and just kind of threw everything together. This is my old power steering pump off the 97, and then I just swapped out the crank pulley with the NA one and kept the supercharged one. These are the bad coil packs and shit off of my ex's car whenever she ran it through some water and it was misfiring, and it was either one of these coils or the ICM, but I just swapped this whole bracket with the ICM and coils and her shit was running fine. And then yeah, just some exhaust shit. I only got one bolt holding the rear. I don't even have any bolts in the front one. I just said fuck it. And then I'm using the thermostat housing that has the bleeder broke off in there. This is the throttle body that was on the 07 engine when my garage door fell and it broke it. And if it's going to leak, it's going to be from at the top, not at the bottom. So I just went ahead and put that on there. And then I got this broke EGR. It doesn't bolt on, and the plug up here up top is broke. So that's just kind of sitting there in place. But yeah, this is my core engine. So, and then this is the bad pulley off of my neighbor's car. It was making it squeal like a motherfucker. I thought it was the pump. But nope, it was that pulley. So, yeah, it's a combination of just junk parts. Both the heads are bad. Like, everything on here is just junk shit. So, it's a perfect core. So, I'm going to get this thing. I got to fold that tarp up, like, in half. I'm going to have to pull my passenger front seat out again. You know, I just put it back in, like, yesterday. I have to pull it back out. And then I'm going to get that tarp in there, set this tire down on the tarp, and then set the engine down on the tire in the car. And then tomorrow, or whenever I go out there, hopefully it's tomorrow, it better be, because I can't drive around with this thing in there all fucking week. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow I can get out there and get that engine out of the Buick, and then they can just come forklift this out with my chain, and we'll go from there. So,
where the hell am I gonna sit?
I guess in the back seat.
What back seat?
Well, I have the cushion.
Fuck.
Sorry, bro. You can ride the fucking engine.
Well, shit. I guess I probably have to keep it from rolling over.
Yeah, because the seatbelt bolts to the seat. So if I take the seat out, can't use the seatbelt.
Safety first, folks.
But all right, yeah, I'm gonna get the seat out of the 97, and I'm gonna turn it around, and then get the seat out and get this thing loaded in here. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update. All right, y'all. So I got the seat out. It's chilling right here. I got the tarp in here. I got the tire in here. The tire kind of stinks like cat piss, but I need it to hold the engine, so I kind of just pulled up onto the curb, and I'm just going to try to wheel it in here and set it down. So hopefully everything goes as planned. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys an update here in just a minute. Alright guys, and just like that, oh, did I lock it? God damn, there it goes. Okay, just like that, voila, engine is in there. It kind of sticks out a little bit. It's just going into that foam, but it's alright, it's in there. So it's good, made some progress. So now I gotta go give this cherry picker back to the guy that lives over here. He was very kind as to let me use it. I just had to put it together. It's brand spanking new, so I'm the first one to get to use it. And he already lost one of these pins. He lost all 4 of the actual cotter pins that hold them in place. And really, there's another one that goes here too. And he didn't have either of those. And then this didn't have a nut. And this bolt didn't have a nut. And then like this one's super long and that one's super short. And I don't know, but I got it together, so I'm gonna end up taking this bolt out, and I have some of these other longer nuts and bolts. So I'm gonna use one of these, a little bit longer than that one. Let's see, how about that one? That one's plenty long. Got one a little shorter, but a little longer than that one. No, those are all the same. Okay, I guess it's that one it is. Yeah, so I'm going to replace that one with this. And that way he's got all the correct everything. Well, it won't be correct, but at least it'll have a nut on it so it can't fall out. And then, yeah, he's going to have to get some cotter pins for these, because just moving it around, these were coming out. If it wouldn't have been for David noticing that the one was coming out, it might have tipped over on us. So, good eye, good looking out. But, yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. So, I'll give you guys another update tomorrow, whenever I'm headed out to the salvage yard to go pull a new engine. So, y'all have a good night. Stay tuned. Catch you tomorrow. Hey, guys. Well, it's the next morning. I'm over at my buddy David's house. Got the engine all loaded up. I'm right here in the passenger seat. So he's going to sit back here behind me. He's got some long ass legs, so we're just going to have to make it work getting over there. It's just a few miles. So yeah, I've got the engine all loaded up. So we're about to head over here to Danny's, get this core out of here, and then we'll go out and pull this new engine. And this thing's saving me like $100, so I'm pretty happy with that. So I got enough to get the engine, so I just got to get out of here and go get this thing pulled out. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update whenever I make it back out there to the salvage yard. Guys, look at this. This is a 93 Saturn. It has 58,000 miles. That is crazy. This thing looks trash for 58,000 miles, but
it's a 93.
But, oh yeah. So got the A-frame. The car's right over there. So we're gonna finish wheeling this A-frame over there, and then I'll give you guys another update. Alright, y'all. So pretty much everything's disconnected. It's ready to come out. Got seatbelt tied on. They're gonna forklift it out for me, and we're gonna go from there. So, hey, you want to cut those heater core lines?
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know if he's gonna be able to get it in here, bro. Yeah, you got it. Hell yeah. Oh. You gotta separate it from the bell housing. That thing's like seized on there still. Can you go down a little bit? No, something's still hung up.
Yeah, that must be one.
Alright, y'all, I just left Danny's. We're headed back over to the house. We got the new engine. So it didn't take very long. We had some technical difficulties with the bracket, and the bolts were still hanging up and holding the trans to the engine, and
The A-frame was
had some
up.
the power steering line. I had to cut that, but yeah, we ended up getting it out, and the dude was just kind of rushing us because he was waiting, and it's hot as fuck outside, so I didn't get to record all of them pulling it out once I figured out where it was hanging up. But yeah, I'm almost to the house. I'll give you guys another update whenever we get over here and we pull this engine out. There's a hole in the pan.
Well, yeah, that's
like,
too, but you can see the oil.
Alright, y'all. Engine is out. It's on the picker. I was gonna drain the oil out because I got oil and oil filter and all that for it. And there's a nice big hole knocked in the pan. So there's no oil in it. But now it means I gotta change the oil pan. Need a new gasket. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. If I would have known it had a hole in it, I could have took the pan off the one the core, even though it was a steel pan. Still could have used it. But it's alright, I'm pretty sure I have another one over at the storage, so I'll just go grab one from over there, and I don't know, I might just put RTV all over it and not even buy a gasket, because I'm trying to get this done ASAP, so. One thing I am going to have to do is I'm going to have to change all the plugs and plug wires. Because on the front where it was wrecked, it busted up the ICM, and the guy that used the forklift, he said whenever they got it in up there, it ran and drove great, but he said it was misfiring real bad. Well, look at there, radiator fans were busted, ripped out wire, ripped that, it busted this up. So yeah, there's no, like, I'm pretty sure it was misfiring, but he said it ran good, it didn't knock or anything, so I'm happy with it. So, but I am going to change all these spark plugs and wires. I have the brand new set of plug wires over at the storage, and the old engine that I had in the Grand Am, my mock-up engine, it has all 6 brand spanking new AC Delco spark plugs. So I'm going to go jack all those spark plugs and the brand new set of AC Delco wires, and those can go back on here. And then seems like the water pump's good. Like, I mean, everything's looking good. I am probably going to put the aluminum metal coolant elbows on here because it's pretty easy, and while it's out, I'd much rather do it while it's out. But man, overall it's pretty much complete, so I'm happy with it. So I'm gonna make a run over to my storage, and then I'll give you guys an update whenever I get over to my storage. Alright, so started tearing some of this shit apart. We got all the old plug wires, the old coils, hoses, all the individual connectors and pieces, everything we cut. So somebody up there already cut the fucking harness, cut the starter off. So I noticed it had the plastic coolant elbows. This one going in the lower intake, both sides broke off. I already had a set of metal ones, so I just RTV'd them. Got those swapped out. It was pretty easy. Still need to run over to the storage and grab some shit. We pulled the thermostat housing off, and it already had a brand new thermostat in there. And then look, inside the throttle body looks actually really fucking clean too. So I'm happy with the purchase. So I just got to run over to the storage. I've got to grab the oil pan and a few other things. Oh, the plug wires, the spark plugs. And then whenever I get back over here, I'm going to pull the power washer out of the shed. I'm going to power wash this before I start putting everything back together. And then I have another harness in the trunk of the 06, so I can either use the harness in the trunk or the harness that's on the engine in there now. Either way, they're both good NA harnesses. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with how it's coming out. So for 320 bucks, with taking the core, like it saved me like about almost $100. So, and I barely got by. I had to, yeah, it was 320, and I only had like 214 cash, and I had to put 52 on my credit card and 15 on my Cash App card and $9 on my bank card, but I had enough. And it left me like $3 or $4. So it's alright though. I got it. I've already got the oil and filter and antifreeze and brake clean. I already got plugs and wires and shit. I just got to go grab them, and shit, it's coming together. So then once I get this power wash and get it all back together, then I got to pull the 06 over here and start tearing it apart and pulling the engine out of it so I can get this back in there. And I'm also grabbing that other transmission from my storage, so whenever I get it back over here, I can just mate it up to the engine, and I can just do a whole engine transmission swap. Because that one's got the HD trans and it doesn't need the HD. It needs just the regular, and that one's a reman, and I know it's a good trans, so I figured fuck it, I'll just use that since it's not supercharged, and we'll go from there. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated as we make some more progress. So I got the 06 pulled over here, and this is what we're looking at. So I know it fucking, just pulling it from next door over here, it died on me twice, and whenever I hit the gas to go, it kind of sounded like it's spinning a rod bearing or something. So I don't know, this engine's probably junk now from me driving it the 5 or 6 times I have with it misfiring so bad. So really hope this one works out good. I do have these new wires I put on with some kind of newer spark plugs, but I don't remember what exactly they are. I don't think these are the brand new ones, but I guess I can always try them out and see. I don't know. But yeah, I still need to take the 97 and go over to my storage and grab the other transmission. And I'm just waiting for my buddy David to get back. He had to run home and take his dog home and get something to eat. So I'm just waiting for him to get back, and then we're going to run over to my storage and grab the other transmission and those other spark plugs and plug wires. And I'm gonna have to reuse this engine harness because the other one that I have, the starter wires were cut off just like the one at the salvage yard that was on this engine, which is the whole reason why I just took everything off and cut all the plugs. So I'm gonna have to disconnect everything off of this one and try not to break anything or fuck up any of the plugs and wires. I'm gonna have to reuse this coil pack bracket because I know it's good. So I just have to reuse that one and reuse this little side harness as well and get everything hooked up onto that engine, and we should be good to go. So I guess I'm gonna run over to my storage as soon as my buddy David gets back. We'll grab that trans, and I'll give you guys an update whenever we get to storage to grab the trans and all the other stuff. So y'all stay tuned. Alright y'all, so I'm over here at my buddy David's house. He's about to come outside. And so I brought the tarp, got the bag of drinks. So he's going to sit in the back, and then once we get over there, we're just going to unfold the tarp, set the transmission here, grab a few other little bits and pieces I need, set them up there. He's going to sit back here and be good to go. So here he comes. Alright, I'll give you guys another update whenever we make it over to the storage. Well damn, look at here. So it's almost to the storage. We're like less than a mile away. And we was at the stoplight, and the light turned green. And the guy in front of me rear-ended this lady, and then he backed up and into me, and then went forward and backed into me again and took off, cut through this parking lot and went south.
And see, he usually
But yeah, see, he fucked up her back bumper pretty good.
you know.
Yeah, it didn't really hurt my car, but it got her car pretty good. So we're waiting for the police to show up to do a report. Yeah, see, he just scuffed me up a little bit. Nothing, no big deal. Mustang sounds pretty good. But yeah, so now we're sitting here waiting. And then once we get done with this shit, we'll go grab this trans. So y'all stay tuned. Alright y'all, so we're over here at the 07 Prix storage. We got the transmission loaded up in the car. It took a lot of energy, but it's in there. So I got the creeper in there. That's what I had the transmission sitting on. Excuse me. But yeah, so I'm about to lock this up. We're about to head back over to the house. I got the spark plug wires and the spark plugs from over at the Grand Am storage. So there's some brand spanking new AC Delco Iridiums and some brand new AC Delco wires. So my buddy Ray's gonna borrow my chain, so we're just waiting for him to come back here with his truck so I can load it up for him, and then we're gonna lock up and head the fuck out of here and head back to the house. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update when we get back to the house. Alright, y'all, so I made it back over to the house. So I moved the engine from over there to over here. I got the transmission out. And I tried to put the torque converter back in and it started leaking, so I left it out. Pretty much, since everything's still kind of sealed up, I'm just going to spray degreaser all over everything on the engine and the trans. Let it sit for like 10 minutes or so. Probably spray it 2 or 3 times. And then I got some soap in the power washer. I just got to run the hose over here and hook it up and turn it on and plug the power washer in, and then it'll be ready to go. And so I'm going to do all that after I spray these so they can kind of soak while I'm hooking that up and getting it plugged in. And then I'm going to power wash the engine and the transmission. And then after I get done, I'm going to kind of clean up the driveway again, since the car's leaked some fluids and the engine, that oil pan's junk. And then, so on the oil pan, I was going to take the one off that mock-up engine on the Grand Am, but it was just a lot of work, and I was going to have to pull out the whole cherry picker with the subframe and all that. And then, once I take that oil pan off, then I can't mock up my engine mount, which I still need to have done. So it was kind of pointless for the Grand Am build to take that oil pan. So I just said, fuck it. I'm just going to take the oil pan off of the engine that comes out of the 06, since I'm just going to pull the whole engine and trans, since I'm using this engine and trans. So, but yeah, so once I end up pulling all that shit out, then I can swap the oil pan around. But for now, I want to get all this whole engine and trans cleaned up, and then I've got, these are my brand spanking new AC Delco Iridium plugs. And they were just like put on the Grand Am engine, and then these are the brand new, I guess they're not AC Delco wires, but they're the high heat protection 7mm suppressor high heat protection. I don't know, I got them at AutoZone. They were like $50, but they're the same plugs I had for the 07 originally before I went to the MSDs. And then, but yeah, so that way it'll have brand spanking new spark plugs and almost pretty much brand new wires. Shit I know is good, so it should clean up pretty good. And then after I get them all cleaned up, then I'll get them bolted together and get the flex plate torque converter bolts in and get that tightened. And then I'm going to reuse the starter that's on the 06 now, since I didn't buy the starter because they were going to charge me an extra $30, and I just said fuck it. So either way, I'll give you guys another update once I get all this sprayed down and get this hooked up, and I'm about to start rinsing, so y'all stay tuned. Alright guys, so I've got everything degreased and power washed. Everything cleaned up very nice, and now I just got to get my air compressor and blow all that water out, all that standing water. But yeah, I could have got a couple little spots a little better, but I mean it's way better than what it was. So yeah, and like I said, I'm not using this oil pan, so I'm not really worried about the oil pan. And then I also got the trans, and there was like so much grease and shit caked up around here, so I went all the way around it, and then I lifted it up, got the bottom of the pan, pulled the torque converter out, got behind the torque converter. So everything's cleaned up really nice. So now I'm just kind of letting this dry a little bit so I can pull I got to move these back over here. Then I got to pull the 06 back in the driveway, jack it up, hook up the cherry picker with the chain and start disconnecting everything. I've got to jack it up, get the front wheels off, got to disconnect the struts so I can pull the axles. And then since I have an HD trans in there and I'm going to an NA trans, and I have my little cup here, then I'm just going to have to pull that CV axle apart and just pop it into this boot with some grease out of the grease gun. It's hanging in the shed, so I'll just fill it up with grease, pop that back together, and put a worm drive clamp on it, and this should be good to go. That'll hold it on there, and then that way my passenger side CV axle will be the correct size for the diff, since this is the NA diff, not an HD diff. So it's coming together though. But before I can bolt these together, I gotta drop the the oil pan. And so in order for me to do all that, I got to get that engine and trans out of that car. So I'm just going to move these over here out of the way and move all this shit out of the way. I can turn off the power washer now. And then I'll get this 06 pull in the driveway and start disconnecting some shit. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright, you guys, so I've got the engine and transmission sitting over here. It started to rain a little bit, so I just threw a tarp over them. Just so, because whenever I power wash them, I try to stay out of the electronics parts. And so, if it starts pouring down rain, I just don't want a bunch of water getting into the electronics and messing it up. But I moved those over there. I got the 06 pulled into the driveway. I've got it up on the jack. Got the front wheels off. Well, I guess whenever we was at the salvage yard, I pulled the 97 up in the gate so that the guy could unload the core engine, and then we put the new engine that I pulled out of the Buick out there back in the car, and we used the forklift. And so the engine I had in the car had my short, like 10-foot chain on it, and then the one that we pulled out of the Buick had a seat belt, and because my chain was still in the car on the engine. Well, I had to pull in the part and open the door so the guy at the checkout could see what all accessories and shit was on the core engine. And because I didn't have an AC compressor on there, he charged me like a difference of $30, so or $20. That's why it was $320 instead of $298, because he charged me for the AC compressor as well. But other than that, like, that was really the only difference. But he came out and looked at the engine, and then looked at the engine I pulled to compare what it had and what it didn't have. And then I had to go inside to pay. And while I was inside paying, my buddy David helped the guy with the forklift unload the engine, the core engine, out of the car. And after I got done paying and I went outside, he was setting the core engine down in their scrap pile bed. And then I went over and helped load the new engine, and I never grabbed the chain. I didn't even think about it. So the chain is gone. They're already closed. We went up there and I looked through the gate, and the scrap pile bin is already empty. So it means they've already dumped all that scrap shit, all the cores from today. So yeah, either one of the guys up there grabbed it to keep for themselves, or it got scrapped with my core engine. So that kind of sucks. That was like an $80 chain, but it is what it is. So I cut a seatbelt out of the parts car and got it on here and got some pressure on it. So now I just got to undo the motor mounts and start getting everything, just start undoing everything. I got to undo the heater core lines, and then I'm just gonna take these two strut bolts out on this side and take the two strut bolts out on the other side. So that way I can rock these forward and I can pull the axles out. And then, well, at least this one, I can pull this one out. The one on the other side, I'm just going to disconnect the boot, because I have to change it anyways. So I just got to pop this off, and see, it already has a worm drive clamp on it because I've already changed it. So all I got to do is just undo that worm drive clamp, and this boot will pop off of this HD piece, and then I can just put some new grease in the cup on the new trans and pop it together, tighten the clamp down, and boom, there's my axle. And I don't even have to mess with the axle nut. I can just keep the same axle and just swap out the cup on the end. So yeah, so now it's pretty much, I just got to start tearing everything apart. I got to disconnect the battery before I start doing anything else. But yeah, I just want to give you guys a little update. So it's coming along though. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated as I make some more progress. Hey YouTube. Alright, so it's 10:15. So I've got this strut undone over here from the knuckle. And I already had a worm drive clamp on there, so I've already got this boot disconnected so I don't have to lose fluid out of the trans. I haven't got the driver's side undone yet. I've got this radiator hose disconnected over here, got that radiator hose disconnected, got the dog bone mounts off. So I'm making a lot of progress. It's getting there. Started getting the harness out and unplugged. I gotta take this off. Gotta get the fuel line off. Gotta disconnect the heater hoses. Got this AC line out. It's over here. And so yeah, so there's just a few more things. I've got to get the cooler lines disconnected from the trans, because I have that aftermarket cooler, which really I'm probably just gonna unbolt it from in the front bumper in here and just remove it, because I'm gonna put the brand new supercharged lines, because this was the original radiator out of the 07, and so it still has the fittings in it for the supercharged lines, which is, those are the lines that were in this radiator. And whenever I swapped the radiator, I was going to use those lines, and I decided just to keep the trans cooler, but this trans is fucked, and the fluid looks nasty as hell, even being brand new fluid, and it's already ran through that cooler, and that cooler didn't really work that great anyways, so I'm just going to use those, because with the 07, it ran this radiator with those lines, and I never had any issues. The trans temp stayed at like 180, 179, like all the time, even doing pulls. It hardly ever got over 180, except for on really hot days it did, but that's because it's hotter outside. But, so I'm going to end up using those lines with this radiator, and with the new, well, the reman trans. And but yeah, so I'm making a lot of progress. Still got to get the shifter cable undone, got to disconnect the exhaust, and still got to disconnect this CV shaft or CV axle on the driver's side. I still got to undo the engine mount and transmission mounts. And I found out, I forgot this engine has a steel pan on it, so I'm going to have to use a steel pan on that one instead. But I figured, oh well, it'll work, so. Yeah, it's like 10:15, and it's probably supposed to pour down rain all day tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to get to work. So I'm going to try to stay up all night until I get this thing out of here and swap the oil pan and start getting that thing done and ready to mate up to that transmission. And I'll probably mate them up and get them set back in here in place, and then I'll probably call it a night and finish it up whenever, after I get some sleep, because I've been up since like 8 o'clock this morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I'm pretty tired, but I really want to get this done, because I'm ready to drive this thing again. It's been sitting for like 6 months. Next door just broke down, so it'll be nice to have 2 cars that run and drive again. So, alright, I'm gonna get off here and get back at this, and I'll give you guys another update here in a little bit, so y'all stay tuned. Alright you guys, so I'm making some more progress. So as you can see, I've got the transmission mount undone, the engine mount undone, exhaust is undone, rear O2 is undone, heater hose are undone. I got the power steering pump unbolted, so I don't have to undo the power steering lines. I've got this CV axle. I just undid that clamp, so it stayed out. And then, so, onto this side. I've never, in like my 10 years of working on Pontiacs here, I've never had a transmission just completely come out. And then look, the whole fucking shaft. Oh my god, how the hell does that even happen? How does that even happen?
Could the splines have jumped and it just got like locked in there?
Bro.
What?
So that goes into the diff on the other side. So this goes into the planetary gear, and it has a
C-clip.
Yeah, it's on there still. The splines still look good. I don't know, it just wedged in that motherfucker. So I don't know if I'm even going to be able to get that out of there. And I sold the one off of this car. So I don't have... I don't know, maybe I can just pop that boot off. And I still have the yoke in this one. So I can always just pop that boot like I did the driver or the passenger side. And just say fuck the bar and that yoke and just use a worm drive clamp and put the boot back on that one. But yeah, man, my impact just ripped that fucking axle nut socket right off there, no problem, zero issues. But okay, well, so now that that is settled, now this thing should just come right out. Hold on, watch out for the master over here.
I'm just trying to get the power steering pump clear.
Okay, well here, then let's make some...
Well, we're good now. I was just pushing that out from underneath.
Okay, we're not going to catch him. Nothing, because all these wires over here. I don't want to be ripping no bars. So.
Right, I'll just keep my hand on the power steering pulley.
Okay, and yeah, we're really tight over here. Actually, I think I'm going to have to unbolt the brake master. Alright guys, let me grab an extension and a 15, and I'll be right back with you guys in just a minute. Okay guys, so got that unbolted. That was easy. So gotta hang this stuff back up out of the way. Alright, you get over there? Alright, I'm going up.
Well, I gotta move your leg.
Okay.
It's close over here with power steering pump, but I think we can.
Can you unplug that O2? It's running behind the brake line.
Sweet. Good catch.
Yeah.
I would have ripped easily.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go up a little more.
Okay, we're about to clear the power steering pump.
Alright, can you watch that spigot on the radiator?
Man, it's real close to that AC.
Okay.
You may have to push towards the driver's side as you go up to clear it, unless it goes right in between the ribs there.
No, it'll be alright.
So far, so good. Yeah, we're good.
How are we looking on that power steering pump back there?
I've got it.
Okay.
Hey, there's something else here. I need light. There's something else here. What is this? It's wrapped around the power steering line here.
Maybe a zip tie?
No, it's a harness.
Okay.
It's wiring, and there's no flip or plug or nothing.
Let me see.
Right there.
Oh, that's the rear O2.
Oh, cool. Okay, it was just hanging out there.
Yeah, I unplugged it. I just haven't pulled it up yet.
Okay, then we're good. We're good.
Alright, cool. So, just got to be careful not to bust off this radiator thing.
And the power steering pump's just chilling there now.
Okay.
Almost clear of the radiator here.
Yeah, I know.
AC now. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait.
What?
There's a there's a line over here. It's just hanging up on
Okay, hold on.
Here, right here. You push the motor towards the radiator. There we go.
Oh yeah,
It was just the lip of it was catching that. We're good.
It's just the power steering line.
It was bringing the pump up with it.
Alright. Looks like we're home free. Just got to get this front of the engine out of the radiator support.
There we go. Clear the power steering pump. Almost to the ceiling.
Look at that. So close.
I know.
But it looks like it's going to be about perfect. Ooh, I smell that gas hardcore.
I know.
Perfect. Okay, let me move this axle and fucking half shaft. Here, you want to hold this real quick?
Got it.
Oh, oil pan. Hold on. Drain pan. Oh, shit. Can you kick the leg this way?
Oh, there it goes.
Just dumped oil all in the fucking driveway. Okay.
Watch your wheel.
Oh yeah. Sweet. And she's out. Hell yeah. So it didn't take too long. So
It's really
and
not
this
too
thing,
bad.
yeah, it's not too bad. Little bit of, I mean, for all the power washing we did while it was out the last time. But yeah, I'm gonna get the power washer back out. And I'm gonna power wash out the whole engine bay, clean up all this old red dirt. Are you still gonna grab some more of that purple
Yeah, I'll
power?
run over
Hell
there
yeah.
and get some of that degreaser.
Yeah, I'm gonna spray this down with degreaser and power wash this whole engine bay out while it's here and while I have the engine out, and then that way once the other one goes in with it being so clean,
So
then
fresh and
it'll
so
just
clean,
make it
clean.
look a hell of a lot better. So yeah, and then now I've got these cooler lines out, so I'm just gonna pull that whole trans cooler out completely. That's down in here because I'm not gonna use it. I'm just gonna use the normal ass stock cooler lines and go from there. So and then I'm gonna have to pull this, knock that clamp off and pull that boot off and pop it on that other transmission piece, since that one's kind of fucked. But hell yeah, shit ton of progress. It's what, like 11?
Yeah.
And so I started pulling this out at like 7:30 or 8. So it took a couple hours, everything's out. And hell yeah, so y'all stay tuned and I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright you guys, so I've got the engine bay sprayed down with purple power degreaser and I've power washed it a couple times. I got the scrub brush right there and sprayed it down and climbed in there and scrubbed all the places I could get to. And it's got a lot of that orange dirt off. I got a lot of it off right back in there. But I couldn't get to all the areas. And then I scrubbed some down here on the subframe and over there where the control arms bolt on. And you got all the grease out of there. But yeah, it's looking pretty good except for all this missing paint and shit. So I'm thinking once this dries, I might just go over a couple little spots with some black spray paint, just kind of try to touch it up some, since you know, it looks better all black. So nothing fancy, just a quick touch up, but I'm gonna let it dry. And so while I'm letting this dry, I'm gonna jack this up. I've got to take this bracket off and get all the bell housing bolts out and pull the starter off and get the flex plate torque converter bolts out so I can get this trans unmarried from the engine, because that trans is junk. I think the only thing I'm going to keep is the diff and I don't know if that's even any good, the planetary gears. I mean, it still moved, but it definitely twisted when it shifted. It had a lot of like torque steer. That axle's probably the reason why. But yeah, I've got to get this sub harness off and get that on there because everything was cut. So it's fucking just kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Yeah, so I've got to pull this whole harness off, the sub harness off, and just get the starter. I left the power steering pump in there, and then just disconnect the trans, and then drop the oil pan, and then I'm going to power wash out the oil pan and clean it up and clean it out, and probably just use RTV. And then I got to swap the oil pan, which means I'm probably going to have to take off the oil pickup tube off of this one so I can set it down flat. What is that?
The insides for this. The whole thing come out.
Yeah, it's it does that, and it goes in as you put it on.
Oh, okay. Well, let's take it off.
Yeah, I just
surprised that the whole gray part come out.
Yeah. It's alright. It's my shitty harness, you know. But yeah, made a shit ton of progress today. It's about what'd I say, like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Probably like 1 or 1:10, somewhere right in there. But yeah, shit, it's definitely coming along. So I still got to pull that transmission cooler out from on the back side of the AC condenser and radiator, and just pull them lines out completely. They're like zip tied up in there, so I need to cut the zip tie and just pull that whole cooler out and let this thing dry out, and she'll be good to go. So I'm gonna get back to it, and I'll keep you guys updated as I make some more progress, so y'all stay tuned. Alright, you guys, so we've got the oil pan off of the old engine. It's out there in the street so I can power wash it. I gotta spray it down with some degreaser inside and out. Then I'll power wash that out. Then I got the engine mount bracket. I'm gonna power wash it off too. And this is my brand spanking new engine mount that I had just put on whenever I did that swap. So everything I can reuse is going to get reused. But the car has been drying up pretty nice. It looks a hell of a lot better than all that fucking red dirt. I mean, there's still some in here. It's not perfect, but it looks a hell of a lot better than it did. So I'm happy with the progress today and yesterday. Spent a few hours yesterday pulling that out, rebuilding it to scrap, pulling another one today, and swapping shit around and getting this shit put back in. So got the full harness off. It's back here on the trunk with the ECU and the plug out the fuse box. Here's so, man, major progress today. Major progress. So y'all stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys updated as I keep making progress. So, alright, y'all. Damn, look at that engine bay. Nice and clean. It's dry. Mostly dry. So, I've got the old oil pan off of the new engine, and I still got to clean up the old RTV. Got to razor blade the old RTV off. But the other engine, it had a steel pan, so we had to wire wheel the whole pan and get all that old RTV off. And then we also had to very slowly peel and kind of wire wheel and get all the RTV off of both sides of the gasket as well. And I'm just kind of letting these dry, and we use some degreaser and a scrub brush, and got as much of that gunk and crud out of here that we could, thanks to David over here. And there's the oil level sensor. It goes in on the front side here. So I'm going to wait to put that in until after I have the oil pickup tube in place, so that way I don't break this sensor like the old one. So, but yeah, it's just coming together. So whenever I put this together, once this is all dry, I'm just going to put a super thick coat of RTV on both sides of the gasket. That way it can stick to the pan and stick to the block. But I just got to grab some razor blades and clean up that RTV on the bottom of the block. And then after I get the bottom of the block cleaned up and get the oil pan on, then I can get my engine mount bracket back on, which I also power washed and cleaned up with my new engine mount. So that's ready to go back on. Got the bolts right there. And then this is the mount that I painted red that bolts the trans to the engine. So I got that on there ready to go. I still got to put the coils on and do some little shit, but it's coming together. So here in the next hour, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning right now. But I'm going to say about here in the next hour, once I get the oil pan on and all that, then I can marry the engine to the trans and get the flex plate torque converter bolts in and start getting bell housing bolts in, and then this shit will be in one piece, and then I can get it dropped back in here. And I was wanting to paint some of this, but I just said fuck it. It is what it is. It's a lot cleaner than it was, so I'm happy with it. So, but yeah, I'm gonna keep on working on this thing, and I gotta pull this AC compressor off so I can get that engine mount bolted on there. Yeah, once I get all this RTV cleaned up off of here and wiped down, then I'll RTV up that pan and gasket and get it plopped on here, and then I'll give you guys another update. So y'all stay tuned. Guys, so we've got the coil packs on. I've got the oil pan and the gasket back on. RTV'd the shit out of both sides. We got the engine mount bracket on, got the AC compressor back on. I got the oil level sensor in. I put some RTV on the back side of it and tightened it down. We got the spark plug wires in, got them all hooked up to the coils, got the ICM tightened down. And then on this side, got the knock sensor plug. So I mean, everything's ready to go. So now all I got to do is just marry the engine and the trans, and then we can grab the engine harness and start laying the harness back on and hooking everything up and plugging everything back in. And then after that, it'll be ready to set back down into place, and you just have to hook up the trans mount and set this down in the engine mount spot, and boom, it'll be sitting in there. And then it's just going to be plugging shit back in, and I got to fill it up with oil. Got a brand new filter on there. Damn, it got smashed somehow. Brand new filter. Oh well. But it's definitely coming together. I still got to put the belt back on. But yeah, it's definitely come a long way. We made a shit ton of progress today. David, thank you again.
You're welcome, man.
For real, yeah, it's like 3:45 in the fucking morning. Monday morning. Yeah, but it's supposed to pour down rain all day, so I'm probably not going to get to work. So I just said, fuck it. I'm staying up. Still need to add some oil. We empty. But man, this thing actually cleaned up pretty damn good for a $300 engine. So I'm going to quit rambling on. I'm going to grab this trans, get it over here, and get these motherfuckers married up and on to the next step. Get that starter back in and all that. So y'all stay tuned and keep you guys updated. Alright, so we've got the engine and the transmission married together. I've got the bitch bolt back there. We got it in. Got my bracket on. Got all the bell housing bolts in. Got all the flex plate torque converter bolts in, and we Loctited them with blue medium strength Loctite. And I ran them down with the impact, so they shouldn't be backing out. And so now I've just got to get these two pieces of line out, like that, and that. Can you hand me those lines up there in that bag? Yeah. So I got to get these hooked up in there, and we'll go from there. So give me just a few minutes, I'll give you guys another update. Alright, you guys, well, we've got a shit ton done. So the whole engine and trans is pretty much all together. Starter's in, everything's hooked up, all my grounds, all my sensors. So that's for AC line. These go to the mass airflow, and that goes to the body harness up there. Pretty much everything is plugged in. I got the very rear O2 plug just hung over the water pump. Got the battery cables on. They're just kind of slung up over the top. But everything is on and hooked up, plugged in. Not seeing anything look out of place. Everything cleaned up great. So now just when I set it down, I gotta make sure that power steering pump's off to the side, and that way once we set it down in there, it'll go right in place. I get the bolts in, they're up there. Get that bolted down, get the belt on, and it's go time from there. So it's like almost 5 o'clock in the morning right now. We've been at it all fucking day, like 18, 19 hours straight right now. But yeah, my phone's about to die. It's at like 8%, so I'm going to throw my phone on the charger, and I guess we're about to try to set this thing back down in here. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update once my phone charges up a bit. Alright, YouTube, so it's like 6 o'clock in the morning now. It's not starting to come up, but it's in there. I got all 4 of the bolts on the trans mount. I got the engine mount sitting in place, and both bolts are in it. So she's mounted, and then I got this one dog bone just to keep it secure. Yeah, she's in there. Whew. So now it's just some little stuff, just hooking stuff up, plugging stuff in, and adding some fluids. Ooh, super excited. So I'm going to keep working on this thing and get it done. I'll give you guys another update, so y'all stay tuned. Alright, you guys, it is 7 o'clock on the dot. So I've got that old trans cooler out. It was up in here, it's gone now. I've got the new trans cooler lines are installed. Everything's hooked up. I've just got to hook up the AC line to the compressor, and then over here to these 2 lines. I've got my extra ground plugged in. The only thing over here left to plug in is the MAF sensor. It's right here. And then I got to put on my upper radiator hose and get that connected. I've still got to put the clamp on this bottom radiator hose and get that connected. I got to connect the heater core hoses and get those clamps on all the way. I still have to bolt on the power steering pump. I still got to run the rear O2 sensor wire down there and get that hooked up and plugged in. But it is definitely coming along. I'm super happy with the progress today. This whole weekend, like once I throw a battery in here, this thing should just crank up. Like, I still got to hook up the exhaust. So I don't want to do that yet because it's super early and I don't want to wake people up and everyone would be getting pissed off at me. So, but yeah, I'm just going to keep working on this thing. I got the shifter cable hooked up. Like it's almost all the way hooked back up. So just a few more small little things and I'll have her back together and we'll be doing a first startup here soon. So y'all stay tuned. I'll keep you guys updated. Alright YouTube, so it's 8:30 and I'm very close. So all I have left is I got to get the power steering pump on, have to get the exhaust on, and just connect these clamps. And I've got the fuse box all put back together. I just can't hang it back up yet or else I don't have very much room to get to the power steering pump. So I've been fighting this pump for like a good hour and I'm just not having very good luck trying to hold this pump straight and get the bolt to thread in. So I've been fighting that. I kind of gave up on that for a little bit, had to take a break. But I pretty much got everything else on. I got both the dog bone mounts on. I got the air intake back in. There's the mass airflow. So other than the exhaust being hooked up and just a few other little things, I mean, I could put power to it and I could fire this thing up right now. It's just going to be loud because the exhaust ain't hooked up. But man, she has came together, so it's getting super close. So I'm going to finish picking everything up. So I still have to do, I still got to pop this axle back together and get that screwed down there. Then I still got to take that one apart and get this axle put back through the wheel hub and then get it connected into that cup right there. And then get this side all back together. And got to get this belt on once the power steering pump is back on. But it is definitely coming together. I'm very happy with the progress. So, yeah, I ended up calling in and just take the day off. My boss said that was fine because I've been up all night and he wants me to get some rest. So, it's alright though. I'm super happy. I'm ready to hear this thing run. But I'm probably just going to pick the rest of this stuff up and go take a nap for a few hours. And wait for my buddy David. He went to go get some sleep as well. So we both had like a 22-hour straight day. Like I got up at like 9 or 9:30 yesterday and it's 8:30. So I'm an hour away from 24 hours straight working. So I'm pretty fucking tired. I've still got to lift this engine back up and put that oil pan back on there and that engine mount. I'm probably just going to take this engine for now and just set it down in this engine bay of the parts car so that way it's covered and hidden. And I still have this other trans back here that's leaking fluid all over the place. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it or where it's going to go. And I got to clean off this cherry picker. And I'm just going to put it back in the shed for now while I go take my nap. But then once I'm completely done and I get this back in there and get that trans loaded to take back to my storage or wherever the fuck it's going, then I got to power wash off the cherry picker and take it back over to the guy that was kind enough to let me borrow it. And then once I get the wheels and everything back on the 06 and it dries and everything, I'm going to move it out and I'm going to power wash the whole driveway again and clean up all the fluid. And I've got some more degreaser in a spray bottle back there right behind my car. So I'll get all this all sprayed down and power wash this all out again. Clean up all this transmission fluid and shit that spilled all over the place. But yeah, made a shit ton of progress. So it's probably going to be it for now. I'm going to go finish picking this stuff up and I'm going to go take a nap and I'll give you guys another update whenever I wake up from my nap. So y'all stay tuned and I'll keep you guys updated. Alright you guys, so it's just after 4 p.m. I just got up from my little nap. I was tired. I was not trying to sleep that long at all. But so I'm gonna get this power steering pump bolted in place still, and that's like the hardest thing I have left to do. And then also the axles, but it's all good. So I'm gonna focus on getting this power steering pump on, get these hoses on, and then get the exhaust on, and then I can do first start. So just stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update here shortly. Alright, YouTube, so it's like 4:30 or so in the afternoon, and so I've got both of the axles connected. I just have to put a clamp on this one. The other side is already done. Just got this clamp. Then I got the exhaust connected. I just hooked up the jump box. So I still got to get the power steering pump on and get the belt on, but I want to start this thing, so it's going to be the first start. Alright. Oh, we got power. Let's prime her up. Alright, here we go. Oh! There she is. Alright, she running. This has some exhaust leaks. Hell yeah, not bad for a first start. Idling good. Alright. Hell yeah. So made some good progress this weekend. For the last 30 hours or so. Done pulled 3 engines, 1 trans, and installed an engine and trans. So, whew. It's come a long way this weekend. So I'm gonna keep working at this thing. I gotta find a clamp for this other axle, and I gotta keep fighting that power steering pump. It's been fighting me this whole time. So y'all stay tuned. I'll give you guys another update once I get this all together and we'll do another startup. Alright, YouTube, so it's about 7 o'clock Monday evening. So I finally got the power steering pump bolted back on, got the belt on, got my coolant tank in, got both the wheels on, got it off the jack. I got a clamp on my axle on this side. I already had the clamp on the axle on this side. Got my O2 sensors hooked up, exhaust is hooked up. I think pretty much everything's hooked up. I was just filling it up with coolant. I'm probably definitely going to need some more. It's about gone. But I think it's about time for the start and idle. So let me grab the keys. Let's start this baby back up. Oil light. I know it's got oil. she running. Ooh, missed them LEDs. Alright. I'm gonna go turn the heater on and start letting this thing warm up. I'm gonna crack this bleeder valve and I'll give you guys another update here in a few. Well guys, I don't know. This engine's fucking misfiring. It's got brand new spark plugs and wires. Like, unless it's that coil in ICM, but I doubt it. This one don't run any better than the other one. Heater's blowing nice. Really hot. But it's just still fucking misfiring. It's not throttle position. I can hear the throttle body clicking. Oh, it is just shaking like a motherfucker. Whole car is fucking shaking. I don't fucking know. Okay guys, so yesterday while David was helping me with the engine, David was looking for some dielectric grease to put into the injector plugs, and the only grease I had was bulb grease, so we put a tiny little dab in there, and I'm getting a random multiple misfire, and if you look in the injector, you see that grease in the corner. So we're thinking maybe it's shorting them out. So we got some Q-tips and David's cleaning them out. And then also somehow the wires ran under the harness back here. I guess we just overlooked it, trying to get shit done. So I'm gonna pull all these plug wires off of the spark plugs, and I'm gonna run these wires over all of this back here instead of under everything. and maybe it's getting some interference for spark, not sure. I just know
this was the only thing we did different.
Yeah, so we're just trying to double check everything, because I talked to the guy up there, the guy that came with the forklift to pull this out. He said they drove it back there. He said it ran and drove, and it was just misfiring. But it was total on the front end, and both of these cylinder 1 and cylinder 3 plug wires were ripped right here, and the whole ICM was smashed right here. So there's no doubt it was misfiring. But yeah, we're gonna try cleaning out all these injectors and the plugs, and I'm gonna swap those plug wires up onto the top of everything instead of under, and see if it runs any better. And if it's still misfiring or running like shit, then I'm gonna try changing out the coils and ICM. And because these could be the bad coils, I don't fucking know. I don't remember. These are the ones that were on the engine that was just in here, which I'm pretty sure were good, but that engine was misfiring too. Well, I just changed that. But if that was wired backwards, it'd be thrown a code.
Right.
Because I've already experienced that with the 07.
It ran really good at first.
Yeah, and so I started it once before I hooked up the exhaust, and it was loud, but it ran really good. Like I just started it up for a minute with no belt on it. I still hadn't even got the power steering pump on.
Good throttle response.
And and then afterwards, after I got it all hooked up and it died, I could hit the gas pedal and I could still hear the throttle body, so I know it's not throttle position sensor, because it's all electronic, and there's one in the pedal and one in the throttle body. So if either one goes out, then that wouldn't work. That would cause it to die. So it could be a crank sensor, but with it misfiring really bad, I just don't see it being the crank sensor. I guess it's possible, but we're going to try the injectors and moving these plug wires.
Wonder if one of the
and then I'll give you guys another update. Alright, so I turned the car around, took the dog bones off to rock the engine forward so I could get to those rear plug wires, because the cylinder number 2 is just being a fucking pain in the ass. Whenever I got the engine, it didn't have this rear hook on. So I went ahead and put one on because I had one, and now I know why they left it off. It was to get to that plug wire. But it's got brand new spark plug and wires, so it should be good. But I went ahead and got it out. I got it routed up over everything instead of down underneath the harness through here. And we got all the injector plugs and injectors cleaned out. Got the EGR plug cleaned out. And those were the only plugs that got greased. So here we go. It's the next startup. Here you go.
Excuse my fingers.
Yeah, it seems to be running a lot better now. Thank you, David. And they're still kind of shaking a little bit.
It doesn't have any dog bones.
Well, yeah. Yeah, whenever I started up earlier, the PCV valve wasn't even plugged in. Forgot to plug it back in.
Looks like it's idle and steady at about 850.
Let's listen to the exhaust. Oh, that sounds a lot better. I still smell some gas. Oh yeah, I disconnected the downstream O2 sensor. I forgot I disconnected the downstream O2. So yeah, so maybe that was the problem. Maybe it was just that grease in the injector plugs and the EGR plug.
I'm sorry.
No. shit happens, bro. Like, I okayed it, so you asked for grease. I said, hey, look here, there's grease. It was just the wrong kind of grease.
It was the wrong time of morning, too.
Yeah. But it's alright. Mistakes happen. So hopefully I'm going to let it run and get back up to operating temp. Because it's pretty cooled down now. So I'm going to turn the heater back on. Here, I'm going to go ahead and...
There's a little bit of moisture in the fuse block.
Oh,
Some of these. A little bit.
just in the lid.
Yeah. Well, down in here, too. Wet.
Oh.
I'll leave it open to dry out.
Yeah, I got to plug this O2 back in. There we go. Looks super clean in there.
Oil lamp is solid. Check engine is solid. No flashing.
It's not flashing no more.
No. Maybe we should hook the scanner up and see if there's anything changed.
It's on the roof of the... It just died. Again. Ugh. Look at the headlights. Nice and bright. I don't know, y'all. I'm gonna keep fucking with it. That did seem to help a lot, so, but evidently there's still an issue, so he's gonna go grab the scanner. I will pull the codes, clear the check engine light, try again. I do still need to finish bleeding the system too, because it kept dying on me earlier. Man, I just wish I would have known it needed something. Because if it's like a crank sensor or something, it would have been so easy to swap out while it was out of the car. But that's what happens when you buy junkyard engines. They're a gamble. But I figure with it being out of a wrecked car, it'd be perfect. And normally whenever I go get junkyard engines out of wrecked cars, they're normally perfect. Like, they run great. I don't have any issues with them. And they're good, strong engines. Like, that's what happened to the last junkyard engine I put in this car. Got it for $300. Ran it for like, shit, 8 months, 9 months. And put like 30,000 miles on it. And it was a great engine. And I pulled the engine out. And that's the engine I'm building for the 07 Prix. Top swap. So, and that's why this one's been sitting for like the last 6 months. Because I threw together another engine and it just had issues, and it's the one I just pulled out. But anyways, it seemed like it was running a little better, so now I just got to run the codes, figure out why it's dying, figure out what's going on there, and I'll give you guys another update. Alright, YouTube, so I'm back over here at the house. So I've already swapped around. There's the old coils and ICM, and these are the ones that were on the Grand Am engine. They're just factory coils I just painted red. And then also So the ground right here that goes on the sub harness for the ICM, it goes down to the crank sensor and the cam sensor. There's a ground right here on the stud. And before, whenever I just took it apart, I had this bracket on with the nut, and then I had the ground up here, and then another nut sandwiching it. And that's how I had it on the engine I just pulled out. But yet the engine I just pulled out was misfiring and doing the exact same thing. So I'm thinking it's a possibility that could have been the issue. Maybe it just wasn't grounding right all the way like it needed to be or something. So I don't know. I just kind of unbolted that, pulled it off, moved the ground, got it back together. Got all the plug wires plugged in, everything's good. So I'm about to start it up and see if she runs any better. So let's see what we got now. Fingers crossed. Oh my God, I think that was it. Oh, that was it. Let's go see. So it was a ground the whole time, keeping it running like shit. There's no way. Hold on. Let me see if it's got its power. Alright, let's see if she's got some power. Oh yeah. That was it. It was a ground. Holy fucking shit. No check engine light at all. It has that oil light. Ah, awesome. Woo. I fixed it. It was a ground. It was a bad ground. I just did a whole motor swap and it was a ground. But hey, shit, I'm happy with it. It's running great now. Hell yeah. Alright, well, so it was either between the coils and ICM or that ground wire. I did everything at the same time, so that's awesome. She's running great, so I'm gonna let this thing run, get up to operating temp, and I still need to bleed it. I still need to put some more coolant in there, so I'll probably end up going up to AutoZone, and I got $20 store credit at AutoZone, so I might go up there and get another jug of coolant and maybe some fuel system cleaner, and I'm definitely gonna have to put some gas in here. But hell yeah, that makes me happy. So she runs, guys. She's running good, no misfires. Oh man. So shit. Hell yeah. I'm gonna let this baby run and I'll give you guys another update here in a few. Alright y'all, so my oil light's on and I'm pretty sure it's this sensor. So I pulled this, guys. So my phone died while I was working on the 06. But yeah, so my phone died while I was working on the 06. It ended up being the oil pressure sensor. I took the one off the parts engine and swapped it out. I had to remove the oil filter to get to the sensor on the new engine. On the old engine, I just unbolted the whole housing and then got it off with the crescent wrench. The one that was on the new engine, it came out pretty easy with the crescent wrench. I just had to remove the new oil filter to be able to get to it easier. And so I went up to AutoZone and I got a brand new filter, and I got 1 quart of transmission fluid and a gallon jug of antifreeze. And I didn't even have to use the antifreeze, but I had the car running and I pulled the dipstick and there wasn't nothing on the dipstick, so I added that whole quart and it's barely any. So I'm about to run up to Quick Trip and get another quart of transmission fluid since Walmart's already closed, and get something to drink because I'm pretty thirsty. So, and probably get some more gas, and because I need to get gas. So, but yeah, making progress. So yeah, now since I changed the oil pressure sensor, now there's no lights on the dash at all. No check engine light, no oil light, no nothing, no lights at all. But then so I went and drove it, and whenever I stopped at the stoplight, it would start acting up, and it died on me a couple times. So I don't know if it's the crank sensor or if it's the gas pedal, because it has the throttle position sensor in the pedal. The throttle body itself looks brand new, so I don't think it's going to be the throttle body. So possibly the pedal or the crank sensor. So I have a good crank sensor on the other engine. I know it was a good sensor, and so I'll end up pulling that one off and pulling that balancer, and probably just swapping both, because I know that other engine ran fine. It was just misfiring, and really now I don't even think it was a bad engine. I don't even think it was because the head stud or head bolt was broke off. I think it was misfiring because of the ground, because it's the exact same harness, had it wired and grounded the exact same way, and it was misfiring, doing the exact same thing. And then I changed the ground and the coils and ICM, and it fixed it. And the crazy thing is I've had those exact same coils and ICM on the old engine, but I never moved the ground. So I'm really kind of thinking that was the issue, but I don't know. I've made a lot of progress today. The car's running great, so I'm going to go get this transmission fluid, and then I'll give you guys another update whenever I get back to the house. Alright YouTube, so I'm back over here at the house. So I ran up to Quick Trip and got me 1 more quart of transmission fluid. So I'm about to start up the 06 so I can check the fluid again before I left. After I added the first quart, it put it to like right there, and it still needs to go all the way up here. So I'm about to start her up. We'll check the level again. Oh yeah. Right at the very tip of the dipstick. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and add this whole cord. That drain and do its thing. I'll go ahead and shift through the gears. That no lights. Ooh. Alright, well, I just have the airbag light, no check engine light, no other lights. Car's running great. I'm gonna turn the heater back on. It's pretty much empty. So, I'm going to toss that in the recycling. Probably really still needs some more, but it's gonna have to wait till tomorrow. But I mean, shit, she's running great. So fucking ground wire, I'm almost positive, because those other coils in ICM worked fine. I had those on the 97 for a minute, and they were working fine on the 97. Some nice heat. I charged the AC. The AC blows ice cold. 1 can of Freon. Man. My windows go up quick. Not all slow like the 97s. 154 miles range. Cool. Well, shoot, I'm happy. It's been a nice, good last 4 days. It's been a long 4 days. Definitely, but we got a lot of stuff done, and then I'm pretty sure this engine in here, the old engine, is still good. See, but yeah, those coils in ICM were known good coils. Yeah, there's that's the junk oil pressure sensor. So that's junk. I just threaded it back on there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this engine is still good. So here in the next week or so, I'm gonna pull this engine back out of here, and me and David are gonna tear it apart and tear it back down to the block and get that junk oil pan back off, clean it all up, and then get it ready. And I'm going to wrap it up in plastic and tape it up. And then hopefully I'll have the engine out of this already before then. But once I pull the engine out of the 97, then I'll take the supercharger and the heads and the intake and the throttle body and all that stuff, and it'll go back onto that block. But I have to drill out that broken head bolt first, which I got a brand new drill bit just to do that. And then once I can get that broken head bolt out, and I get this engine out and take it apart, and then I'll use all this top end and oil pan to go back onto this block, since I'm using everything that's already over at the Grand Dam storage. So yeah, this block I'm pretty sure is still good. It has a brand new timing set on it. It's got a lot of new parts on it, new oil pump, all that. And but it's good. So at least now I know it's still a good engine. It wasn't misfiring because of the broken head bolt. It was misfiring because the ground on the coil packs. So lesson learned. It was a expensive lesson, but at least now I have another engine. I know this engine's good. It's only got 144,000 miles on it. And this one was, I mean, this was the original top swap engine out of the 07. And then I just put it back to NA. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, that could also be a problem with that block with the lifters, because that's the same block that the lifter spun in place and broke, and it was kind of riding up and down in there. And I mean, I tested it out before I threw it back together, and like it slid up and down and everything. So I don't think that was an issue. It seemed to run great. I didn't hear any like screeching noises or anything like that, or any knock-ins. So I don't think that was an issue with that engine. But definitely lots of progress. I'm very happy with it. I'm stoked. So it's probably going to be it for this one, you guys. So like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and catch you guys in the next one.